Right, so it's been a bit of a crazy year being a Leeds supporter for this season. We've ended up champions. We've ended up storming the league. But that's something that we weren't actually confident about doing until the last 3 or 4 games. So I just thought that we'd do a little bit of a recap of the season and looking ahead to see the kind of transfers that we can expect for the Premier League. I mean, what is there to say about this season that hasn't already been said? We've had probably, again, the second best season in a row that we've had, certainly in history that I know of, supporting the club. Bielsa, the genius, the madman. He's just a bit crazy, isn't he? He's a bit mental, but it works. It works. This free-flowing football, this this system where everyone can kind of interchange. Everyone knows where their position is, and they can switch at will. It's great, but how's it going to do in the Premier League? Now, I'm not one of these people that thinks that Leeds are going to put a Norwich. We go up and then straight back down again. No, I think that we'll do all right. We'll do better than a lot of people expect us to do, but that's going to rely on some really smart transfers and investments. And as I'm recording this video, actually, we have a couple already over the line. We've landed Jack Harrison on another year-long loan from Manchester City, with the option to buy going from 8 mil to 10 mil at the end of the year. That's really, really smart, because that allows us to put that money from Harrison, which is pretty much already a done deal, towards some other players that are going to be a lot harder to land. I'm talking, of course, about Ben White, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We've also signed Illan Meslier on a 3-year permanent contract from Lorient. I was over the moon about this. I mean, it's actually just showing some intent from Leeds. I, for one, never want to see Kiko Casilla back in the net for Leeds. I'm just thinking of last year's playoff semi-finals. Sorry, we didn't even make the finals against Derby, where I would say he was probably one of the main causes of our downfall. But I've never felt confident with him in goal, unassured at corners, rushing out for everything, getting beaten by attackers in one-on-ones. Ever since Melier's come in, he's been solid. His distribution's been fantastic. He's young. He's got so much potential. He hasn't even reached his ceiling yet. We could be looking at the next Lloris. It'll be a French international, and I'm not just bigging him up for no reason here. It's the first time I felt really, really confident with a goalkeeper from Leeds. And when was the last time anyone could say that? Kasper Schmeichel? Who have we had since then? Silvestri, Lonergan, Rob Green for a year, Vivold. We're not exactly showering ourselves in talent, so I was really, really pleased with that. Now, some of the main kind of important transfers that Leeds United have been looking at, there's been a lot of rumours, there's been a lot of articles floating around of us being linked with Edinson Cavani, the ex-PSG striker, who's on a free transfer now. But some of the wages that I've been looking at, they've apparently gone over of 300k a week. 300k a week. I don't care what kind of player you are. There's no justification for that, especially for a team that are looking to build a solid kind of foundation in the Premier League. And he's what, 33, getting on a bit now. I think there's far better options, and I'd like to build I think Bielsa should be looking at a younger squad. I'm not questioning Cavani's talent, but for those wages, there have to be better alternatives out there. And speaking of some of these better options that Bielsa is looking at, there's two that I really want to kind of focus and talk about. And those are Eberici Eze from QPR. I believe we are looking at him along with Spurs for about 20 million. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't mind that. I'd seriously consider it. He's been a standout in a mediocre mid-table championship team. Creativity's there, playmaking's there. He can go past the man. He can, set up assists. He can score bangers. And I would see him as the perfect understudy to Pablo Hernandez, who's 35. He's getting on a bit. I'd say maybe he's got a solid year left of really decent kind of play. So Eze definitely would consider, but I also think it kind of depends on this other transfer target as well. Saeed Benrahma, Brentford's kind of main man, in my opinion, and darling of the Championship. Now, apparently we've looked into this, we've been interested in a bid, could be going up to about 25 million, which I think is a steal for Benrahma personally. Just seeing what he's created for Brentford, he's been a real linchpin for them in getting them to where they are. Now, obviously, I think this depends on Brentford actually not making it to the Premier League. So I'll be watching the playoff games and hoping that Swansea do us a favour. But I would love that deal to go through. I think he'd work really well with Bielsa's system. He's a hard worker, and he's got that ability to make something out of nothing. And he's clinical. He can put chances away. I think has he got higher goals than Bamford this season, or is that Ollie Watkins? But regardless, he's able to put goals away and create them, most importantly. Out of the two, Eze and Benrahma, I'd go with Benrahma. But let me know what you guys would think. I would be happy with either. And I think for those kind of prices in the 20 mil range, those are they're a steal if we can grab those. I'm going to talk about one more because I really don't think we need to go all out, pull an Aston Villa or a Fulham and spend 100 mil plus on an entirely new squad only to go straight back down. So I believe let's grab a kind of a Pablo understudy, an attacking midfielder, and the centre back. Now, Ben White has been, I think, deservedly the player of the season for Leeds this year. Not only has he been an absolute colossus at the back, but he's shown composure on the ball. He's made Cooper a better player. He's honest to God made our captain so much more assured and confident. He can drive out. He can create things. He can score on the volley, as we saw against Charlton, which probably drives his price tag up about 3 mil, which is not great, but it is what it is. Now, I've been paying really close attention to the story and how he was in the interviews after we lifted the trophy. He wasn't putting himself with the Leeds kind of team. The interviewers were asking him, "Do you see yourself at Leeds? Where do you see this team going?" And the replies were not kind of we. He didn't say, "I think we could go real far." I think he said, "I think this team could go really far." So he's already kind of distancing himself a little bit. Maybe he's got agents telling him about that. I don't know, but Brighton are adamant that he's in their plans and they want to keep him. I'm certain 90% of Brighton fans didn't know Ben White existed until this year. Graham Potter probably didn't even know he existed until this year. And I'm sure Ben White walks into that Brighton's first team. Absolutely does. He walks into most, I'd say 50% of the Premier League defences. So we're going to have a fight on our hands. There are teams like Liverpool, Man City, the Vultures, already circling. So they're really going to have to fight hard, but I think it's worth it. He's already been a part of our system. He knows Bielsa's methods well. Cooper's played with him. Phillips has played with him. They all feel comfortable with him, and he feels comfortable with them. 30 mil? I'd pay that. Get him on board. Sign that contract. 40 mil. I think 40 mil's fair. Yeah, he's unproven, but he's unproven for other Premier League teams. If Brighton don't know how he's going to fit in with their system, you know, you just take a punt. We know, we have that proof that he would do well in our system. I think all of our energy now needs to go towards, you know, getting Ben White on board, getting him signed. We've had a great start to this transfer window, and we've just got to keep it up. So I think what I'll be doing is I'll try and bring any kind of updates as I see them from, you know, all the sources and stuff. I might go over a little recap of the season as well in more detail, talk about kind of the real turning points for me, the highs, the lows, and how I was adamant on getting Bielsa out by Christmas. No, that's, you know, I'm joking. I'm his biggest fan. But yeah, so I might do a little kind of timeline review and just go through some of the high and low points, and maybe a Premier League preview and see who will be beaten, who I'm looking forward to beating, and where I think we might finish. Because, yeah, Crystal Palace, Everton, Southampton, do they beat this Leeds team? No, they don't. This Premier League's in for a shock, and I'll be trying to bring you a lot more of the info as it comes. So until then, stay safe.